Alright, what's up? Super excited about today. Got a great training video for you. How to dial in your perfect cadence. This is a follow-up to last week's training video on how to improve your cadence so you can run faster and longer without getting tired. But as the internet goes, I was going through the comments, and of course there's people in there who want to argue or doubt the training techniques I was talking about, primarily on the 180 steps per minute. If you are looking to improve your cadence, I'm sure you've heard that 180 steps per minute is like the cadence to be at. And although I did reference this as a benchmark, it's not perfect for everybody. So that's what I want to get into this video about, how to dial in your perfect cadence, because depending on the terrain that you're running, the event that you're running, your cadence is going to vary. If you're going out for a speedy 5K or jogging an ultra marathon, that overall your average cadence is going to vary. But you can dial it in, your perfect cadence for you, for the event that you're running. So that's what I'm going to get into this video, using a couple of steps that will really just not only make your running more efficient and easier, but just probably get you to that finish line, especially if you're an ultra marathoner. If you're an ultra marathoner, you definitely want to watch this video, because I'm going to be giving tips along the way how to transition or use this technique from road running to trail running and ultra running. So if you're new to this, I want to say welcome. My name's Eric. I'm a USGO ultra running certified coach, and I love running, talking about running, and helping other runners like you become better runners. My goal is to help you or make you rethink possible, because I believe that with my endurance life and the training techniques that we talk about, that you will become a better runner. So I want to invite you to go to my website, myendurancelife.com, and download one of my free training guides, or join the Facebook group, or check out my training and coaching services that I provide. That's myendurancelife.com. You can pause the video right now and come back and watch this later, but I want you to take advantage of those freebies and just opportunities that I give so you can become a better runner, because I use these videos as more of a, like, this worked for me and maybe it will work for you. But if you want personalized advice that will help you specifically, then visit my website, myendurancelife.com, and we can get going from there. Okay, but now let's get into today's topic: how to dial in your perfect cadence. So first, let's recap what cadence is. Cadence is rated in steps per minute. How many times per minute our feet touch the ground. So how many times they come in contact with the ground. Why do we want to do this? Because it makes us a more efficient runner. It makes our points of contact more rapid, which makes our transition from step to step smoother. Think of it as like a multi-pointed star rolling along next to, say, a square that's clunking along. The higher our cadence, the smoother we're going to roll down the road or the trail or wherever we're running on. And then another reason is because with the higher cadence, that the quicker our feet are touching the ground, the easier it is for us to propel ourselves forward and slow ourselves down, especially for those trail runners, ultra runners. You know how hard it is sometimes to slow yourself down when we're bombing a downhill. So a higher cadence lets us stay in control so we don't overstride. It's going to help us avoid injury with the higher cadence in those types of scenarios. Also along the trails in technical terrain, that having a higher cadence let us avoid obstacles, those roots, those rocks, those ruts, those muddy situations where we have to have a quick, high, fast turnover. It's safer for us, and it just makes us a more efficient runner, instead of having to like leap slowly or jog slowly, and maybe even slow down to a walk in some circumstances. With the higher cadence, you feel more confident going over these rocks and roots than as somebody with a slower cadence might have to like slow down and walk through it. So that's why I really want to encourage you to dial in your cadence, and I'm going to be getting into 3 steps real soon, just in a couple minutes. Just so bear with me, because I want to break down this 180 steps beat per minute a little bit more, about why you might be a little bit below it, or you might even be a little bit higher than it. So going back to the comment that I want to address about, the person who left the comment, I'm sure they meant it with the best intentions, because everybody's opinion I value, and everybody's opinion is different, and everybody's running is different too. So that's why this is for your perfect cadence. Your cadence isn't going to be my cadence. Your cadence isn't going to be Jim Walmsley's cadence or Kipchik's cadence. Okay, we're all different. We all have different abilities. But the comment was that some ultra runners have an efficient cadence of 160. Maybe over if it's a long ultra marathon where you got hiking and walking involved in, I believe that yes, 160 steps per minute average cadence is probably accurate. But if you look at the points where they're actually running, and then if you look at their peak cadence and their minimum cadence, that it's going to be drastically way different than that 160 or 180. If you look at peak cadence when that runner, ultra marathon trail runner, is bombing that downhill, it's going to be upwards above 200 steps per minute, 220, 225, even 250. But then if you look at like that middle of the night section where they're walking or hiking, it's going to be down around 60, 70, or 80. So, you know, but if you were to watch when a good ultra runner, trail ultra runner, road runner, whoever is running, they're going to fall within a range of about 170 to 190 steps per minute. And this is going to be varied between just running style, running form, height, weight, athletic ability, but between 170 and 190 is where I believe that most runners should fall. 160 is on the slow side, to where you're going to be that loping, jogging, you know, I shouldn't even say jogging, just that loping, slow foot to foot, when that often tends to us overstriding. The slower the cadence, the easier it is for us to overstride. When we overstride, then we come into just open ourselves up for a lot of injuries. You can do your own research about that, and just how when our foot strike hits the ground with a long open stride, just it's more efficient for us to be right on top of our feet, with our feet landing directly underneath us, and a higher cadence promotes that. It's also more efficient, easier on our bodies, and will help you run faster and longer without getting tired. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, how do we improve our cadence? Well, step number one is after you've dialed in your perfect cadence. So if you have not watched the video about how to improve your cadence, it's touch this tab above, somewhere up here, and go watch that video first, because it's going to make this video make all the more sense, help you just really dial it in a lot faster, quicker, easier, so you can go out there and start crushing your runs. So if you did not watch that first video, how to improve your cadence, go watch that, then come back and watch the rest of this video. Okay, so assuming that you watched that video, how do we dial in our perfect cadence? Well, we need to know what our cadence is from that last video. So if you ended up in the ballpark between that 170 and 190, what I want you to do is, or what I recommend, and these videos are for recommendations only. If you want personalized training, again, go to my website, myendurance-life.com, and then you can learn how to work with me, where I can give you that personalized advice. But these videos are just recommendations on how you might be able to improve your running. Okay, so step number one, that cadence that you felt comfortable in. We're going to use that Metronome app that we downloaded before. If you don't remember what a metronome is, it's that instrument that musicians use to keep track of time when they're playing music. It goes, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can set that at beats per minute, and we're going to run in step with that beats per minute. So say you fell in at 175, and 175 is where you improved your cadence to. Maybe you started at 160 and you improved it to 175, and that's where you are now. Okay, warm up, go run a mile at that 175 steps per minute. But I want you to track your heart rate. Track your heart rate, see what it is. Your average heart rate during that 1 mile continuous running at 175 steps per minute. Okay, write that down so you don't forget, or make a note on your phone. Now turn your metronome up 5 beats per minute. So now you're going to be at that 180 steps per minute, just 5 beats up from what it was before. Make sure you're warm. Go out for that same mile jog at the same pace. Okay, that's key, is we want to stay at the same pace, an easy conversation pace, a pace that you can do 2, 3, 4 times if needed. A 9-minute mile, 10-minute mile, 11-minute mile, whatever it is. Remember, pace and cadence don't affect each other. You can have a slow pace and a high cadence, and a fast pace and a high cadence. And you can run a 6-minute mile or 12-minute mile with the same cadence. So just run with a cadence or a pace that you are comfortable with, that you can do for 3 or 4 miles, and then we're going to do that again. Okay, so now that you've upped it 5 beats per minute, run that mile at 180 steps per minute, keeping track of your heart rate. Is it higher or is it lower? Write down your heart rate and then compare it to what you were on that first one. Okay, now reset your clock, your monitor, your heart rate monitor, your watch, or whatever you're doing to keep track of your heart rate, and then go run another mile. And this time you're going to set it 5 beats below where you started. So you started at 175, now we're going to run at 170. Okay, same thing. Run a mile, keep track of your heart rate, write it down at the end. Is it higher or is it lower? The lower your heart rate at the same pace but with a different cadence is really going to help you dial in your perfect cadence, because we want to be efficient as runners, and the more efficient we are, the faster we can run and the longer we can run without getting tired. Okay, even though that 180 steps per minute is a benchmark, it's a recommended starting point for most runners. It's not perfect. Like I said, my steps per minute on a road run is 184. I did that by checking my heart rate and comparing it to a 175, 180, 185, 190, 170, and I found that around 184 is my most efficient cadence. Okay, so how do we know for sure? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to test this over and over again, okay, for the next couple weeks. And you don't have to do it every run, but just from time to time, reset your clock mile to mile and just change it a couple steps per minute, higher, lower, run a mile, reset it, run another mile, reset it, and then you're going to dial it in. And just, keep in mind that, temperature, humidity, just your overall fatigue from the day, if you're doing a morning run or afternoon run, if your kids are stressing you out, you got problems at work or just anything, that can all affect your heart rate and your body's stress. So this might take a couple weeks to dial in. But once you find it and you find that, okay, I found, and I'm just going to use me as an example, I found that 184 steps per minute, I can run a 9-minute pace and my heart rate stays about at 135, 130 to a 140. Okay, that's perfect for me. If I increase it, then my heart rate elevates. If I decrease it, then I just feel a little bit more labored, like I'm not as efficient. That's the way I was able to tell that was where I wanted to be for my road runs. Okay, so now how are you going to apply this to trail running and ultra running? Trail and ultra running, because on a road, it's very controlled. We can control the elevation, we control the terrain that we're on. We really don't have to worry about obstacles. Okay, so this is where that song Rock Lobster by the B-52s just paid a huge game changer in me. Pick a song. It doesn't have to be that song. Just find a song that you like that's around your cadence. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact, but just something for you to remember. So when I'm out on a trail, especially in an ultra where I'm getting tired, and the last thing I'm doing is thinking about my cadence, I'll notice that, like, okay, I'm feeling kind of labored. My runnings really isn't easy. What changed? And then I'll remember, okay, I slowed down. I'm just like slopping along now, just slogging along, just trying to get through it. So I'll recall that song in my head, the Rock Lobster song, and then I'll replay it in my brain and start running a step with it. And then that will get me back up to that 180 beats per minute, because that's where the song is at. And then I'll just fall into place at that 184, because I've programmed myself to just automatically get there when I'm running efficiently. So hope this helps you. And if you like this video, please subscribe and go to myendurancelife.com, download one of my free guides. I try to put as many videos out as I can, because my goal is to help you one way or another, whether that's through my training services, through the Facebook group, or the free guides, or just on this YouTube channel. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next training video.